in the last 24 hours, we've gotten Leon Draisaitl's press conference. We've also gotten a lot of online reaction from Oilers fans, from different fan bases talking about this Leon Draisaitl contract. And it is pretty funny how quickly opposing fan bases and people on Twitter or X.com, how quickly they shifted from, oh, Draisaitl's not signing in Edmonton. Enjoy this playoff run. Enjoy this run to the Cup final because you guys are trading Draisaitl in the summer. And then it was like, they're not going to get a deal done. It's September. Draisaitl's leaving in free agency, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as he signs, it is, oh, boy, you overpaid him. Oh, you overpaid him. That's a terrible contract. Of course he stayed. You offered him more. First off, Leon Draisaitl, and someone said it in the chat, Leon Draisaitl could have gotten more on the open market. Like, do not let anyone get that twisted. If he goes out to the open market as a UFA next summer, there is some team giving Leon Draisaitl $15 to $16 million without a doubt. Opportunity to get a franchise level sort of player in your roster without giving up assets. Teams would have been spending like stupid to bring that guy in. The Oilers got him for 14. Did he take a discount? No, I don't think he took a discount, but he left money on the table, if that sort of makes any amount of sense. And Tyler Mulick sums it up great. I was also listening to Elliot Friedman's hit on Sportsnet yesterday. He says, I hate when people talk about AAV and not percentage. And that's bang on. From when the last round of superstars signed, the cap's gone up. So yes, Leon Draisaitl is the highest paid or highest AAV in NHL history. But by the time that contract kicks in, the cap's going to be, I think, right around $10 million higher than when Austin Matthews signed his shorter term $13.25 million extension. So you got to look at it from the perspective of percentages. And listen, it's still high. Like, I'm not saying it's some sort of deal, bargain, whatever. Like, it's fair. I think very fair market value for Leon Draisaitl. But again, Liam, I thought it was funny to see the way that opposing fan bases have tried to flip the narrative all of a sudden.
Yeah, whatever makes him happy, I suppose, whatever helps him sleep
Fair.
at night. I just think, like, there's no debate when it comes to these superstars. Like, I don't think you overpay superstars. I think you just pay them money, and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
So when you get guys like Darnell Nurse, right? Guys like that, it's like, yeah, you overpaid that guy, or whoever else it may be. And I mean, how old will Draisaitl be when that contract's in year 8? 34?
Yep.
Something like that.
Draisaitl, he'll be 37 or 38 when the deal's done.
Okay, so maybe at that point, yeah, you're looking at like Taves and Kane kind of situations, more Taves. But like, quite frankly, if they win a Stanley Cup, who really cares at that point? If they win 2, 1's good enough for me at this moment. But I just think when it comes to stars, every single team has them. As long as you can identify who the absolute superstars, the elite of the elite are, then you're gonna be fine. Like, I mean, you look at a guy like Jonathan Huberdeau, right? In Florida, yes, he was a very good player, and he had a great season when he came close to being he was an MVP candidate, wasn't he? Could have won, didn't win.
Yeah.
That's an overpay. Now he's in Calgary and it's obviously not working well. But that was clear that was almost like a bit of a one-hit wonder kind of thing. And I mean, look at Draisaitl. What's he have? 3 50-goal seasons and MVP. He's the best scoring forward in, the cap era in the playoffs, or close to.
Yep.
Overpay shouldn't even be close to this guy's name. Quite frankly, you pay him $20 million a year. I couldn't care less. He's good enough for it.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to where I wanted to go next. And a few people in the chat are getting into it here. So there's 2 sort of angles to look at this, because we had a comment here from Pete who said no hockey player is worth $14 million. And well, I can maybe look at that and be like, okay, yeah, like anyone making $14 million a year is insane. But if you have a gripe with a hockey player making $14 million, let me remind you, as Christopher Palmer says, the billionaires don't need to get any richer. The money is deserved for the stars. And yes, like, if you have a problem with a hockey player making $14 million, then you should have an even bigger problem with someone who's rich enough to own the franchise that can pay him and a bunch of other people and still have a bunch of money left over afterwards. So again, I'm not going to sit here and point fingers at a hockey player for taking $14 million when you can Google Daryl Cates's net worth and be like, maybe that's the bigger problem in this whole situation. If we want to take a look at it from a societal perspective, if we want to circle back to sports and not get too far off track and turn the chat into something we don't want to turn it into, we pull up Maynard Nugent-Spivey's comment and we say the fact that Leon would be the 117th highest paid NBA player is redonkulous. And yes, Alan Walsh posting this, I believe Courtney Terrio did it as well, but he's now the highest AAV in the NHL. That $14 million would rank him 92nd in the NFL, 99th in Major League Baseball, and 117th in the NBA. For comparison, Major League Baseball, he would come in at that $14 million AAV, and it's actually closer to, if you truly sort by AAV and not what the player makes in a year, it's more down to like 111th, where he would be tied with Jack Flaherty, really good starting pitcher actually, John Gray, journeyman, Jorge Soler, bit of a journeyman power hitter, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Sean Manaea, who stinks, Will Smith, and Yoan Moncada, who also kind of stinks. Like, it's a bunch of NBA players who kind of suck and a few good ones, and Draisaitl's ranked all the way down there. He's the highest paid NHLer. So I don't really think you can sit there and look at this in any sort of weird way of like, oh, wow, the money's getting out of hand, because one, someone can afford to pay them. Go have a problem with that guy. And two, hockey players as a whole are still pretty undervalued, especially the star ones.
Surprised he's so low on the NFL list, if I have to be honest. I feel like there's tons of money there, but the problem with hockey is it's just not as established as those other ones, right? It's such a niche sport. Like, you look at those other ones, what was it? Football, baseball, and NBA. Like, anyone can pick up a ball whenever they want and just shoot it at something. But in hockey, it's just like so much more difficult to get there. So it's not a surprise it's so much lower, but the money side of things, like, it doesn't matter to any of us, like, at the end of the day, like, he's going to get paid. He's going to get out there. And when he scores 50 goals this season, Pete, I think that was your name. If you're an Oilers fan, quite frankly, you will not care how much that guy gets paid. I thought he had a really good quote, actually, when he said the pressure. I think the pressure, the question was from Rashog. Yeah. It's like, do you feel pressure now to perform? And it's like, it's not the pressure, it's the responsibility. And it just feels like such a Leon Draisaitl quote, he's just this cool guy, calm and collective. He doesn't really seem he seems very nonchalant sometimes, doesn't it? I thought this quote really just pieced together what he's all about.
Yeah, totally. And another thing that really stuck out to me as I was watching along on the press conference yesterday is my heart skipped a beat, Liam, every time he used one of these two words, we and our. And I just thought that really kind of said something. And the context in which he used them was he referred to Edmonton a couple of times as our city. Like, we're excited to make Edmonton our home, and it's our city and playing for our city. And we, talking about the team, we love playing for Edmonton. Like, all of the kind of we's and r's he threw in there is just, again, he said it on his Instagram post, loyal to the oil. He said it in the press conference. He could not imagine himself in any other jersey except for an Oilers jersey, drafted by the Oilers, only known one NHL franchise, like all of that stuff. And the buy-in and love he's had for the city. Like, it really is unbelievable. Here's another quote from the Oilers. I don't know anything other than Edmonton. I feel super proud and excited to wear that jersey every single day. So it will be 18, 19 years of his career that Leon Draisaitl would have committed to the Edmonton Oilers at this point. So yeah, it's pretty great, man. It's really good. He said on Bob's show, it was always the Oilers. And yeah, like, go back to what his agent was saying in the summer. Like, there was never really any real speculation. I know, like, Grinelli, who we do love, and he put his hand up after and was like, I was wrong. He was big on that. He's coming to Boston. He is coming to Boston. He's coming to Boston. The Bruins are getting ready for him. There was that weird San Jose rumor that, quite honestly, never made a lick of sense to me. There was these fringe rumors, but there was never anything significant that for a second led you to believe Leon Draisaitl was considering being anything other than an Oiler. And you take that and you couple it with the words he said at his press conference, and it's a dude that loves Edmonton, and it's a dude that wants to play here. And man, I know people like to pick apart certain things with Leon Draisaitl, but at the end of the day, having a superstar sit there and say, I'm good with spending my entire career in Edmonton, it's special. What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.